Good morning. I decided to bring you along for a day in my life when I am not traveling. Most of you see all of my trips, but what you don't see is what happens in between them. Today, I actually woke up around 3 o'clock this morning and I couldn't fall back asleep. So I did what I usually do. I grabbed my phone and I started working on my content. Honestly, it's those quiet hours where I do some of my best thinking. And also, it's just a time when I really enjoy the peace. Now it's actually time to get ready for the day because I have a full day ahead with meetings, content planning, and a lot of travel industry work. So let's get this day started with a shower. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to sit this one out, my friends.
Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Head toss.
Okay, one of the things that I have always felt that was really important was getting ready every morning before I start my day at work, even though I work from home when I'm not traveling. And I really feel like it does something for me personally, psychologically, to get ready, get dressed like I'm going into an office, do my hair, do my makeup. Now, I'm not really doing my hair and my makeup 5 days a week when I'm working from home, but I am getting professionally dressed pretty much 5 days a week. And I'm definitely doing my hair and my makeup at least 2 or 3 of those 5 days of the week. Again, when you're not leaving the house, like for me with my new journey, I'm working at the Travel Institute as the Senior Learning and Development Manager, which, by the way, was a dream job of mine. We'll talk about that in another video. But it makes me feel like, I'm not stuck in the house, because when I do work, I have very long days, and I generally, when I'm not traveling anymore, now that I have a new journey in the travel industry, I'm generally not leaving the house really that much Monday through Friday because of my job. I'm working, like I said, at the Travel Institute, but I also am working part-time for an organization called MVMT Society as their Travel Advisor Success Manager, which I've been very happy with because the travel industry, it just runs through my blood and it's such a passion of mine. So I've been very blessed since I've sold my travel agency after 14 years to be able to work in many different capacities with the travel advisor community. You might be asking why I'm using 2 brushes here. Don't tell anyone, but I got K-tips in the spring and I can't brush them with a regular brush. I've got to brush it with this. Something I did for myself that just makes me happy and makes me feel good. And I am just a true believer that when you feel the best in your body, you do your best work and you live your happiest life.
I think for me, getting up and spending some time getting ready in the morning, like I'm actually leaving the house, just kind of sets the tone for my day. And like I said earlier, when I can feel my best, it trickles down throughout my day. And I'm always a true believer in doing whatever I can to make my workday feel peaceful and calm and happy. And that's what I'm all about in my days today. Now, don't get me wrong. There is probably a day or two during the week that I'm just not feeling it, or maybe I'm not feeling great, I'm not feeling myself, and I'll throw on stretchies and a t-shirt. But for the most part, I do try to get ready a couple days a week where I'm going to be on a Zoom and I'm going to be on camera.
All right, so now we are done getting ready and I am going to move on to my work day. So I do have an office and you're gonna see it a little bit later on, but what I do sometimes during my work week is kind of move around the house so I don't feel like I'm stuck. Working from home can be very monotonous, so I like to kind of switch it up during the day. And right now, what I'm going to do is spend a couple minutes, maybe like 30 minutes, actually sitting down, writing in my daily journal. More on that in a little bit. And I also have a few travel advisor coaching clients that I'm still helping, which is so flexible for both me and the advisor, because what we're doing is we have a few packages where some of them are just doing audio messages with me a few times a week, where we have a few minutes, maybe up to 16 minutes of audio messaging back and forth, and some of them also do a once a month Zoom with me. So right now I'm just going to catch up on some of my audio messages after I write in my journal.
I started this journal about 3 years ago, and I've been documenting things that I've been pushing myself to do that are well out of my comfort zone and out of my boundaries. So it's been really nice to write in and then go back and review. I really love starting the day talking through some mindset work with some travel advisor clients of mine. It really gets my juices flowing.
All right, I've caught up on my journal and I've caught up with my travel advisor coaching calls, and now it's time to get ready for my first morning meeting of the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over to the first spot of the day that I am going to utilize, and it is my kitchen table. And one of the reasons I really love starting my day at the kitchen table is because of this. This is my sliding glass door, and I have seriously become an old lady. I have birdseed all over the deck. I have a birdhouse, and there's something to me about really enjoying being able to see some nature in the background while I work. So yes, it is a tad bit distracting, but it makes me happy, and I'm all about things that make me happy during the day. So I'm gonna log in and get ready for my first meeting of the day, which is with my friend Maya from the MVMT Society, and we're gonna talk about some plans for 2027.
Me and Maya spent some time talking about some goals for 2027, and even though it's July, it's never too early to talk about your future and how to make it successful. One thing that makes me happier during my workday is totally aromatherapy. I really love filling my house with scents that I love that bring really great memories back to me. It may seem small, but I promise it makes such a huge difference in my workday. Then I jumped into a morning motivation meeting, which I absolutely adore because, again, setting myself up for just a really good day with motivation and being around people that I align with is just the best.
Now I'm gonna go and make another phone call and do a little work before my next meeting at 10:30. So another important part of my day is taking my daily supplements. And one of my favorite ones is, and this is not an ad for it, but Spoiled Child, which is a liquid collagen. And I was taking it last year I guess probably for about almost a year. And I did have a lapse in my subscription to them, so I stopped for a couple months. But I noticed the difference in my skin, my hair, and my appetite being curbed by this. So I decided to jump back on the Spoiled Child train. I get I think it's pineapple or mango. I'm pretty sure it's pineapple. Does it say? It's pineapple. Can you believe I can't remember what it tasted like just from yesterday? I have a lot of stuff to remember and it's kind of crazy. So it's cold, it stays in the fridge. You can take 1 to 2 tablespoons. When I reintroduced it to my system, I did start taking 1 tablespoon. I've been crazy sick for 3 weeks, so I'm just starting to feel better stomach-wise, so I didn't take it for a little while. So I am now doing 2 tablespoons. Wash the little cup off. And I do it in the morning because I've gotten into a habit where I do things in a certain order. And because I do them in a certain order throughout the day, it helps me remember how to do that. That came from a book called Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits taught me how we can kind of connect things that we do throughout the day in steps in order to easily remember them. So I have made a few habits in
in steps in a row, which is coming out here after I'm done brushing my teeth. I know it sounds weird, probably, that I should be taking stuff like that before I brush my teeth, but this is the habit that works for me. I brush my teeth, I come out here, I take my spoiled child collagen, and then I take my other supplements, which are a drop of colloidal silver, which my friend Kim told me about, which is amazing for immune support. You hold it under your tongue for about 15 seconds, and then you swallow it. And I also take 2 Neuromags. Magnesium is really helpful, specifically because I am somebody that has gone through menopause. I rarely sleep. It's very hard for me to fall asleep, and it's very hard for me to stay asleep. So magnesium does help with that. I also take vitamin D3. I take omega-3 because thanks to my father's side of the family, I have horrific, hereditary, horrible cholesterol. And I take a daily women's vitamin. So that is everything supplement-wise that I take in the morning so far. I also haven't been drinking caffeine for about 3 years now. I occasionally, every once in a while, if we're out doing something, I will get a coffee with caffeine maybe once every 2 or 3 months just as a treat, but I necessarily try not to have caffeine. So throughout the course of the day, I do try and drink big bottles of water. And when I need a treat, I have a seltzer. This is Polar, one of my favorite brands of seltzer. What I do is I try to save my 1 cup of decaffeinated coffee for later on in the day as a treat. And by later on in the day, for me, somewhere around 11:30 in the morning is later on in the day because I've been up since 3, 4, or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like, you know, almost dinner time at that point for me. So I'll reward myself with a decaf, sugar-free caramel latte or something closer to the real lunchtime. But for now, it's Polar. Before I head into my next set of meetings, I've got a phone call with a colleague of mine in about 5 minutes. And after that, I have my weekly staff meeting at the Travel Institute. And I will move from my living room, dining room area into my office for the next half of my day. And again, it just kind of breaks up the day for me. Working from home can, you know, be a little bit repetitive, and I find it really nice to kind of go from room to room and kind of travel around. So when I'm not on a meeting and I get to have a phone call, I actually love to pop my headphones on. That way I can get up out of my chair and kind of walk around the house and I'm not stuck sitting all day. It really works for me. Today I did this kind of out of order. I typically walk the dog very first thing in the morning, probably like by 6:30, 7 o'clock a.m. the tops. And that allows me to get up, move my body, and be outside and smell some of the earth. And it also benefits my doggy. So now it's time to make my coffee because it's 11:30 in the morning. And I have been up for almost 9 hours already. So like I said, I like to make my coffee a little bit later in the morning, sometimes even in the early afternoon, because it's something I look forward to and it's kind of like a treat that I give myself. And, you know, in true woman fashion, I kind of feel like it holds me over from eating a little bit much. So I know that's really not the greatest reason to drink it, but it's one of the many reasons. And what I do is I actually, because I have been really trying since I found out I had a fatty liver, which I don't have anymore because I've been so good. And I've been pre-diabetic for a while, a couple years ago. That has changed since I've really lowered my sugar. So what I do for my sweet treat is I use sugar-free caramel syrup. I use probably about what would be, oh, this is probably too much. I like to use about 2 tablespoons, I would say that is. And I typically use stevia, but I'm all out, so today I am grabbing a Sweet and Low, which I know is not good for you, but it's better than sugar in this pinch. And all I really do is use about a half a packet. I don't even use the whole packet because the sugar-free caramel syrup is pretty sweet. And then you have to, in order to have it be a sweet treat, I'm very bougie when it comes to my coffee. I love the Starbucks, no sugar added, zero creamer, because I'm also trying to stay away from dairy. And this is caramel macchiato. And for some reason, this one just froths so nice in the frother. So I do a little bit here. You throw this back in the fridge. And before I actually make the coffee, because again, guys, I am totally bougie, I love to put a little bit of the froth in the bottom of the cup. I love to put a little bit, like I said, in the bottom before I even do the coffee. I mix it around. There we go. And while that is being made, I am now going to transition from my dining room into my office for my weekly staff meeting. All right, so now I am going to prep for our weekly staff meeting here at the Travel Institute, which I actually love because we work virtually. We don't get to see each other in person very often unless there's like a conference or an event that we're going to. And I'm brand new. I've only been here for a couple months, so I haven't done any of those things yet. So I really enjoy being able to have a weekly meetup where I can actually see my colleagues and my teammates and kind of build that connection. Right after that, I am diving right into a destination meeting with Experience Scottsdale. And after that, I have another meeting. I decided to film this today on a day that I am crazy busy. Not all days are back-to-back meetings, but most of the days are pretty hectic. I do have many days where I am ferociously just creating content and in my zone. Today is just a very busy day of meetings. So I'll be back after my staff meeting.
Completely off topic here, but I noticed while I was editing the video that I wasn't ever looking straight into the camera, and I thought, what was I doing? But I noticed that I probably was looking at the wrong part of the camera, so needless to say, I was not ignoring you guys.
All right, so now it is, let's say, 1:07 p.m. I have had 5 meetings already, and I have a little bit of quiet time before my next meeting. And now I get to do my favorite part. I get to work on my educational content. Let's get into it.
This is hands down one of my favorite parts of the day. I feel so blessed that I get to create educational content by using some of the knowledge that I've gathered over the last 14 or 15 years in the industry to help other travel advisors grow. And I just am so absolutely grateful for this opportunity. Sometimes I can't believe that I'm here. I took a little quick 5-minute break to watch my favorite talk that Steve Harvey does called The Jump. And if you have not seen it, it's definitely top tier motivating. So make sure to watch it on YouTube.
All right, so I finished my 7th meeting of the day, and now it's about almost 4:30, and I'm gonna sit here and work now in the living room, because remember I talked about how I like to kind of move around the house. It kind of makes me feel like I'm not so confined, and it just makes my day go faster. So now I'm gonna sit here on my couch, maybe have a little television or music on in the background, and I'm going to finish probably another hour's worth of work. So I'm so glad you followed along with my day. I had such a great time being able to show you a little bit of a glimpse into what I do. And if you are interested in learning more about travel and everything that the travel industry has to offer, please consider subscribing, because I'll be doing more of these videos coming in the next couple weeks.